Welcome to On the Fence, the show that's about helping you decide whether or not to spend your hard-earned money on the biggest and possibly best releases. Nick, how many times are we going to hear that today? 4.
Yes.
That's how many.
That's not that many.
For an On the Fence, it is.
Yar, it's Assassin's Creed.
What are you doing?
Is that not the right time period?
Yar is definitely not a Viking thing.
Oi, mucker, it's Assassin's Creed. What the Syndicate?
That is terrible.
Don't
go racist. I knew
Assassin's Creed.
I knew you were going to go racist with
That's
it.
not racist.
That's definitely racist. God, thank fuck they haven't done one in like Japan or China yet.
I'm all out.
Yeah, you're done. You're not gonna try a Greek accent?
No.
Hi, we're doing Assassin's Creed in case that wasn't fucking obvious.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yar.
No, still wrong.
Okay.
So we are looking at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The latest time frame to be bastardized by the Assassin's Creed franchise is the Viking time frame. So there you go.
Vikings, but in England.
Yeah. So
where is the?
as Nick loads up, because I have played a bit of this too, so I'll do a bit of spiel for a change, because Nick's gonna do a lot of that today.
Yep.
So yes, this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the latest installment in the Assassin's Creed annual franchise.
Yeah, there wasn't one last year.
I'm almost certain.
Nope.
Almost certain.
Nope. There was not one last year.
I bet my foreskin.
Nope. They took a break. They did Origins. Odyssey came out the year after Origins. They didn't do one last year, and now there's Valhalla.
But yes, so you may be wondering, gee, what is Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
And Assassin's Creed Valhalla is
Another damn Assassin's Creed game.
yes,
Yeah.
but in the newer style Assassin's Creed game, a la an Origins or an Odyssey, where it is much more open world focused than it is assassin focused.
Yeah, it's more action adventure than stealth, probably.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it.
Yep. So pretty much it is kind of, once again, in that kind of open world form. The open worlds you kind of go across so far are it's not Norway, Scandinavia we'll call it, yeah. Scandinavia. And then you also then venture into the rough, bleak, depressing world of Britain.
Yeah, so yeah, the story starts with Eivor and his clan. I'm going to try to not say he or she, considering you can choose on the fly if you want to be a female or male Eivor. Eivor and his clan essentially feel ousted out of Norway because Eivor's best friend, whose name is escaping me right now, Sigurd, yes.
Mass Sigurd.
Essentially, Sigurd feels slighted because his father has pledged allegiance to someone who's trying to unite all of Norway under one banner rather than having each of these individual clans. So Eivor and Sigurd decide, alright, we'll strike out, we'll go out on our own, we'll take as much of the clan that wants to come with us, and we'll go settle in England, following in the footsteps of some other Viking clans. You get to England, there's some mishaps. There is the fact, like, you're the Viking clan you were planning to meet up with have all left the area, and then you take over their settlement. And then the story is kind of about you going out making alliances to kind of bolster. So you have alliances you can fall back on to kind of, in case anything goes wrong with your clan, you can say, alright, oh shit, we need help, so we'll make an alliance with these guys. Currently, we were attacked by a kind of not a rival clan, but a rogue clan who's not really pledged, or like, they've just been kind of roaming the English countryside to fuck shit up. And we are now trying to help Oswald here become established as king by marrying this lovely lady here who has my haircut.
So Oswald is the guy, the one who doesn't
look like a Viking. Yes, but essentially Oswald, like the two Vikings brothers here, and that's their sister, don't really feel like Oswald is a worthy king, and
Gee, wonder why.
and have been kind of pushing back against his marriage with their sister. Essentially, he wants to marry their sister because it'll kind of cement him with a force to be kind of impose his will.
I need your eyes.
So Eagle Vision is back. So there's Raven Vision now.
So you had the eagle in both games. You had it in Origins and Odyssey. It kind of lets you help like scout ahead. You can mark enemies with it. It kind of I think they use it a bit more coolly in this. Like it does kind of like, so you say like it says, oh, just locate area. It's just I use my eagle to kind of parse out this is where the quest objective is, but it doesn't give me a definitive objective marker.
But that can be changed. So the one thing I really liked about this was how customizable the difficulty was. So there was kind of 3 difficulty options whenever you start the game. There was combat difficulty, exploration difficulty, and stealth difficulty. So just because we're talking about exploration, I suppose, like exploration can be as simple as it'll literally show you exactly where you need to go with a single marker with your Raven, or average, normal, which I believe what Nick is on, which is it will show you an area.
Essentially, it'll be story specific. So, like, if someone tells you, "Oh, you need to go here and do this," it'll point out the marker. If it's like, "Oh, do you not care about me?"
Apparently not.
Okay. Oh God, he dodged.
Wait. What are you doing? I'm just a pig farmer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so eventually it'll be like, all right, the story says, oh, they have like moored their boat over here somewhere. It'll give you a rough area to go look at it. Or there's like the full-on adventure mode where it's assuming that no one knows where fucking anything is in the world. Kind of like how it would be, to be honest. It's like everyone is just kind of, oh, I need to go a different way.
Yeah, you go across the bridge. Yeah, so like for example, in this sort of thing, it would have been like, oh, they would have said, oh, there's apparently a scout at the other side of the bridge, and you just have to be like, okay, look, use your Raven. Oh, there's a bridge, and then go to that bridge and just have to run around until you find it.
Yeah.
I assume if you got close enough, it would kind of provide a marker then.
God, there's gonna be no easy way.
Yeah. If you hit that, will you not?
No, because I'm carrying this guy.
I thought that would still do. But yeah, so that's kind of like again, combat is what it is.
Yeah, combat is.
But no, I mean in the difficulty sense, like you get tougher enemies, certain amount of hits, more hits, easier settings. You go down with more hits, more difficulty, less hits, and then the stealth. So I haven't really hit too much stealth yet.
So the stealth, I think, refers to there are going to be areas. So there are factions in England who are just naturally opposed to you or like mistrusting of the Danes in general. So like they'll be like, oh, like certain hamlets will be like, oh, if they see a Dane, they will immediately like call guards and be like, oh, you need to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So I think stealth is more about that rather than like explicit stealth missions. Is this water deep? Nah. Sorry. So like there'll be bits where you go into town, like Ivor will instinctively put his hood up because it'll help you like kind of get around the town a bit easier because otherwise it'll suck.
Yep. Yeah, so say stealth does seem to have come back a certain amount, but it seems to be more moving around certain towns and villages that you're not liked in, rather than stealth missions. Like a lot of these Viking missions and stuff more seem to be along the lines of pillaging and burning things to the ground and fights like that.
I'll ask once more, why were you lurking around Norwich's walls?
I came to pay my respects, Lord. To Oswald, the whimpering Saxon ergi of East Anglia.
Tell him why you're here, and you may walk free.
So yeah, they've continued some of the like dialogue choices that were in.
I gotta use that much more than my like my dunghole.
How does it feel against your ass?
When the braziers lit at Dunwich, Ruit and his men.
Yeah, so the combat or the dialogue.
Yeah, so that's carried over from Odyssey. I feel like there's not as much of it in all. Like Odyssey, it was fleshed out to the point where like you saw different icons, like doing this option will lead to like a romance thing or something like that. This it's very much just go through each of the options, and then the conversation will continue. It's a bit like.
You've served your purpose.
I mean, like, there's a case in point there. There is some stuff, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to affect. Or not that I've noticed, it doesn't seem to affect anything. You do get you do have a charisma stat.
It unlocks like certain dialogue options and conversation, and I've had it's popped up a couple of times for me. I don't know if it pops up if you can't pick it, so I don't know maybe if I've missed some or if it's just I've always had the charisma needed for the ones that have appeared.
Yeah,
but they essentially unlocks like I think those kind of act as like skips in quests. So like I was able to charisma my way and not have to go do a quest step instead, which was nice.
Your husband? You're married already?
I was. We've been apart for 5 summers.
I'd buck her
I
out.
never expected
She
to
looks like
see
me,
him
hence
here.
she has my haircut.
And I never
You could
wanted
book someone that has my haircut. Don't be weird.
I'll have sex with Skrillex.
You're a strange man.
With Ruid's clan stomping around, neither is possible.
But look, Nick, at those next-gen textures and facial animations.
Yeah, so I think this game looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
Caveat, as always, is we are recording this in 1080p.
Wow, how many times will we hear that today?
We're gonna need to because it's
4.
this looks really good. Like this looks real good in 4K.
Yeah.
Obviously we're not capturing in 4K. But other than that, this looks amazing. I think the look of it reminds me of The Witcher a little bit because it's almost like England is almost depicted as like this. It's like a fable like look to it of these bright autumnal colors and things like that. It reminds me a lot of how all the areas in The Witchers were designed.
Yeah.
And like when it's in 4K and running really well, it just all pops out really nice and looks really, really good. I could not fault how this game looks. It has the open world jank that you would expect of just, it's an open world fucking game. The things break because there's that many things going on.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times. Like we had a couple of guys sliding across the world. We had the stork that just flew into a set of steps on the ground. Like open world jank doesn't bother me.
No.
It's game breakers and stuff like that, and performance issues would bother me. But you say you haven't had any performance issues even during the busier stuff, so
like the game hasn't locked up on me at all. It hasn't like dropped to an unplayable level frame rate. I don't think really it's dropped frame rate at all when I've been playing it. All in all, I couldn't fault this at all. So this I wanted to show off because this sort of shows off how they're handling side quests as sort of things.
Feathers for a kingslaying.
There isn't the idea of side quests like there would have been
It was
in
blessed by a priest.
Origins and Odyssey where like you get the whole pop-up, there's a side quest. They almost treat them a lot more like
what the fuck happened here?
what?
Just riddled with arrows.
Yeah. So they almost treat them more like the Strangers and Freaks things, like events in
Red Dead 2.
Yeah, in Red Dead. Where there are these very small isolated things of just what this one is just, I got to fucking steal these arrows, and this bitch is like, what the fuck you doing?
You've desecrated a martyr's place.
Why are you so passionate about
And
these
they're like
arrows?
they're more just these really small story tidbits. Like they're not going to be these massive spanning things that are like, oh, this has like 8 steps and you do this and then you go over here and you do this.
Well, they do seem to vary in length. So if you watched our Xbox Series 1
Never dared
or Xbox Series X, that was a side quest you did, was it not?
No, because that was an actual quest.
Oh, was it? Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like I can be like, no, I'm going to sell you these arrows, give me some money, or just, no, fuck, I need arrows, fuck off.
I'm willing to sell, but the King Edmund arrows might be mixed up with my own.
So, I think they're neat because they are these very just small, isolated, like, teals, and they're all kind of, like, do their own, yeah, so open world jank. They all kind of do their own thing, like, there was one where I, like, encountered 2 farmers, or 2 brothers who lived on like 2 opposite farms, but their granary was like right in the middle, and they couldn't decide whose the granary was.
Yeah.
And like there was multiple ways I could have went about it. I could have like decided with one farmer or the other, or as I did, I just blew up the granary. So yeah, like I blew up the granary, and then they were like, "Oh, sweet, okay, yeah, you're like that was probably the right thing to do because all this granary has done is cause us issues." And now we can start from scratch as like one big happy family. So like that was cool. There's other ones that, yes, they're not necessarily linked to the main story, but they're still like quests. Like as we saw in the If you go see the Xbox Series X on the fence,
Link here now.
if you really want to. And yeah, I think there's another one over here, which is maybe a bit more. Oh god, good.
You did not take that much damage.
No, which is a bit more like. Don't be like, oh, stop, kitty.
What a handsome cat. Hello, friend of Freya. What's wrong?
Come back, you snake!
Here, little one.
Wow, I did not want to play that kid. Pig poop.
Pig poop. You ran off again.
Cats are free spirits, aloof and haughty, like the goddess
What?
Freya.
Did that lady just parkour in the background?
Ever since that Cotter died, that old sea cat
Yes, this
gone
one will see me
wild,
like I have to go
scaring
chase the cat,
chickens
and like you encounter like I saw you
scratching
do one earlier. It was like you needed to like lure an animal back to some guy at a farm or like at a camp
Yeah.
because he wanted to kill it himself and like finally like make a name for himself.
Which he kind of did.
Yeah, and like I think they are. I'd much rather these than I'd rather a dozen of these types of things than
Entire.
get the cat.
Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, look how big these cats are!
That is a big cat.
Oh. So I'd rather like 2-3 dozen of these than 100 side quests that are go to this camp, kill everyone, go to this place, pick up a thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like they're very because they are so short and knocked out within like 2 to 5 minutes. Like you don't mind if they repeat themselves because they are so quick. Like for example, like one we did last time was about some lady in a tower.
Yeah.
And she wanted you to defend her honor with the false promises she would come out of the tower and be absolutely banging looking.
Then she just never left.
She never left. Yeah. And literally all you had to do for that was fight one dude, wasn't it? So like it's not again something that was quick. You knock it out quickly and it's a bit of a laugh. And then you search the area afterwards and you actually got a bit of loot from it.
Yeah. Like I think those are smarter solutions than just having like a million side quests that give you like X resource. So you can see there, I have 2 skill points.
Yes.
And this mad ass fucking skill tree.
Yeah.
It is humongous.
And then actually, I don't know if you've got to that point yet, but it all loops around on itself as well.
Yeah, so like
Over there with your left.
It's
so
kind of split into like you have
3.
like melee, you have ranged, and then you also have your stealth trees.
Yeah.
And then but like each of these trees like connect to each other at some point, and just
It is.
it's kind of mad. They are all just like passive buffs, and then each kind of constellation has like an actual active ability or like a ability in the middle.
Yeah.
Whether it be something like this where you can like, oh, I can actually
Bend arrows.
Yeah, I can bend arrows, or whether it be something passive like where's the other one that I saw? Like, yeah, it just gives me like more ability slots to use, or I think it's this one. Or it's like, yeah, or I can like auto loot.
I told you that would be in
Yeah.
it. You didn't believe me.
You can reset this at any time. Like, there's no penalty to resetting it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so I hit Y here and it resets everything. There's no penalty. If you just decide, oh, like I've spec'd into some, like I do way too much range damage and it's just really hurting me. I think it's really neat. Like, I think the fact there's no penalty for it is really nice. I'm gonna go for this one because I do a lot of parrying.
No, it is. It's great because like literally, some areas just are so different. You know, like you could be like, oh, I'm stuck in the middle of an enemy stronghold and I'm not stealth.
Yeah.
I'm either like I'm not stealthy enough to try and get through it, so either I can reset everything and put it all in the stealth, or hell, if I want to just go balls out, I'll just reset everything and stick it all into melee.
So you've got your abilities similar to the way was this in, I can't remember if this is in Origins. Definitely
was,
honestly. Where like you have different abilities where like, oh, I have this ability where I leap up in the air and like dive on someone like that.
Yeah.
And you then split into melee and ranged. Inventory stuff returns from Origins and Odyssey. It's a bit less involved this time, I would say.
Yeah.
So like there's no level gates on the gear. So like you'll see I have like all these cloaks, but none of them are like, oh, this cloak is level 8 or level 9. You're only defining power is your power stat here.
Yeah.
But there's no gear gated behind it, which I think is nice because it means you're not getting like, I don't have a million of these axes just with different levels. I get one type of this axe with each. See the logo above the axe's name there as well, where it's like this is the bear version of this axe, which kind of links back to some of the skills on here. Where you
Yeah,
get
be more
bonuses.
towards the melee stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll get one axe, like kind of one type of this axe for each clan, and that's it. You'll get one shield for each, like one light shield for each clan, and that's it. So it stops your inventory becoming like massively cluttered.
The one thing I do miss though is that there's no colored scheme for when you're comparing.
Yeah,
that I did miss.
So
that.
when I compare these, it's
you actually have to. I know it's a small thing, but it's something that I miss. So like, because literally you'd just be like, tap it, and it's like, okay, there's more green than red. But I feel like
that's partly because it's more of a it's a feel thing. Like obviously something like a two-handed massive axe is going to do more damage and have less speed. It's more just you're more comparing the stuff at the bottom of like, oh, this does this, like what's the passive bonus on this, and then what like. But it's just going to be a case of, do you prefer using a two-handed axe or things like that? Do you want to rock around with two shields, which is totally an option?
Yeah, it is.
For some reason.
Somewhere Captain America is so jealous.
Yep. But yeah, I think they've made smart streamlining choices with a lot of the... I'm not following the quest marker anymore. They've made a lot of smart streamlining choices with some of the stuff that I felt like was becoming cumbersome in stuff like Odyssey. Where like, yeah, you were getting loot every fucking 2 guys you killed, and you were constantly having to go in and dismantle old loot you weren't using anymore, and making sure you always had the best loot equipped. Whereas now it's just, what loot, like what type of weapon do you prefer using, and like what is the most enjoyable to you, which I think is a much better way of doing it. And then you'll see if I go to the map quickly, like it's more gated towards your suggested power. So like each zone has a suggested power level of, I'm currently 67 or 68. And then, yeah, so I would be way out-leveled in certain areas right now.
But then that is also something that's come from the last 2 games as well, as
but I think
power level.
Gearing, like, having it associated with your, like, the passive experience you're getting, rather than the gear you're finding, is a much smarter idea and a much better way of doing it. Because I might have this really, really powerful two-handed sword, say, in Odyssey or something like that, but... fuck, if I like hate using the two-handed swords, I'm just screwed because I'm stuck using this thing I don't enjoy playing with.
Yeah. As you can see, look at this lovely, not dreary countryside. Yep. You're not going to go far enough away to take them away.
Alright, so abilities, I can like throw this, pull this guy towards me, wheel on him a little bit.
Why did you not shout, get over here?
You've got a parry. Each person kind of above their health bar has like a stun meter, so if I deplete that, I'll get like a stun attack on them.
Yeah.
There's parries and stuff. I think the combat is kind of easy, to be honest. I have no idea.
I would not say easy. I would say though, like, I think you do take a lot. Like, to get the parry time stuff down, like blocking and stuff easy enough, just drains your stamina, but to get the parrying time down takes a bit of practice.
Yeah, so the way it's kind of broken up is, I think it's heavy attacks, and it's heavy attacks will take your stamina down.
Yep.
And light attacks, if you hit, obviously, will like increase your stamina.
Yeah.
But the issue is, I feel like I only ever really used the...
You made it.
The heavy attacks, like break shields and stuff. I'm like never using them, just on the go. Yeah.
No, I think like the combat I have enjoyed. I don't know if I enjoy it just as much as Odyssey. But that's just because I think the Odyssey's character and the combat and stuff involved in that was a bit more light and agile. Because they're Vikings, they're much more heavier and they're more of a brutish kind of attack style. Also, the camera doesn't go out just as much in this as it does with the Odyssey one. The Odyssey one zoomed out far enough; it was almost kind of like a original God of War. Not that extreme, but like the original God of War. This one feels more like a recent God of War. Yeah, like I think like I do enjoy the combat. I still think I miss. It's a personal thing. I still miss the old kind of school Assassin's Creed. That's just me.
Yeah.
Now saying that in this game, I maybe have just not got to a point where there is maybe some more stealth stuff. Like this seems slightly stealthy. This bit.
Yeah. So there's kind of two big like components I'd say to this. Is I'm not sure if we'll get around to showing one, but there's the raids, which are much more like all out offensives on like monasteries and things like that. And then there's like these sorts of things where you're almost making your way through a fortress to like get to either just slowly like one by one pick off people, or just to get to a certain bit of the like fortress.
But the main thing for both of those, with the raid, it's from the get go. It's a fight.
Yeah.
From this, it does not look like you'll be failed if you do decide to go in guns blazing.
The part of this, I'd say, is you're almost unless you're very good at the combat, you're more than likely going to get overwhelmed if you try and like just walk in here and like pick a fight.
Yeah. I do. The one thing I like about the raids is though that they are not just story driven.
Yeah.
Like you can raid any sort of village. Like there'll be villages and stuff on the map, and you just kind of roll up to them with your boat and your boys, and then you just kind of take them out.
Fuck them up. Yeah.
The raid kind of stops when one, all the bad guys are dead, or two, all the loot has been taken.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the ones that are like you do those to like get resources to. Yeah, you get those ones to kind of get resources for your homestead, which you will go back to, and I'll show some of the upgrade stuff there. And then you get some, and then you'll get the ones that are just go to.
Oh, zipline assassination! Zipline
I don't know
assassination!
if I can do a zipline assassination, but I can try. That's
That.
I'm already doing the wrong thing. Close enough.
Zipline assassination is not a thing. It's just a zipline that will go to an assassination.
Yeah. So and then like the kind of the standard ones will be more like you'll just rock up on like a little fishing like village or like a couple of houses that are like beside the river, and you'll just like get resources for like upgrades and things there.
Yeah.
Rather than things specifically for your homestead.
But it like I say, all in all, it's quite well varied. Like I love like even so I say I haven't even got out of the starting area yet. You do not have.
Do you have chain assassination? I thought I did.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, he's dead.
You gotta remember though, this is further back in your game than you are.
Not that far away.
Alright. He is.
Guys, I'm trying to murder this
You are
guy.
trying to know the meaning of stealth. Come on now. Story wise, how have you found it? So there's not.
Well, this is a big
He is probably the clansman. Yeah, story wise, how you find it? So you've talked kind of about the premise. How have you found the kind of?
That's an unblockable attack.
How have you found the actual story going forward?
I have the overall story. I think is a bit meh. Like the idea of Eivor and his pals rocking up and fucking up England.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit to be honest. Like the more interesting bit of it to me is like Eivor's been having like these visions of like, and he sees himself talking to Odin and things like that.
Thank you so much, my friend.
And he's just like, and he tries to make sense of them. Like he like starts going to like a seer who like, and she gives him like an even weirder vision, and you see like a big giant dragon thing.
yeah. There's your chain assassination.
Boom. That was pretty dope. So I think that's cool. Like, and I'm really interested to see where that goes, cause like, I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't know if you've even seen him like having chats with Odin yet. Where like Eivor and Odin look a lot alike, and I don't know if that's purposeful or not. Almost as if like that Eivor is Odin and things like that. I'm also kind of interested to see where they go with like the main story stuff, where like they've kind of said this will be like almost like a closing off point for Layla's story, which was kind of began in Origins.
Yeah.
And like how that plays out. Oh shit. Oh nope, you're dead. So like that's the kind of annoying thing is like, yeah, I'm just not really interested in the over like, but I think they're smart in that kind of each of these areas that you go to. So like the way each kind of story arc, as they put it, starts is you'll choose an alliance to go and bolster from your homestead, and it's just kind of each area in England, or like each province in England, I don't know where the rest of these guys are.
Go, my eyes.
So and each of those stories are kind of self-contained, or have been so far, which is nice anyway. Because like the first one I did was kind of cool, where you were like helping an ally Dane like rescue, like bring her clan back together because they'd just been ousted from like their city by an English king. And then the second one's maybe a bit meh. This one seems pretty interesting. All of all seems like a cool character.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know why that exploded.
So you said there's an overall story arc per kind of area.
Yeah.
So like whether
like
it's
it even comes up and says like, oh, this is the Kingmaker arc, or this is the like Tale of Oswald arc.
So it's like the whole, so like this marriage bit.
Yeah.
Is that this area's arc? Yeah.
You see, if I go to the quest, you'll see like this is like it says, oh, this is part of the Tale of Thegan Oswald.
Oh, okay.
It's like that's kind of how like each of the areas is split up, or each of the arcs. But yeah, the overall story I think is maybe a bit lackluster. But I think each of these individual stories is kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
But Eivor's personal story I think is really interesting, could be really cool. And then I also think that the modern day stuff seems like it could be heading in a really interesting direction.
It's weird. So like, just you mentioned it there. So like, Layla's story harkened in, which was started in Origins, kind of like was kind of harkened in the start of like this open world Assassin's Creed game, like this action. Wonder, like, do you think it'll take another new direction then with the start of a new trilogy? If this is the end of Layla's stuff.
Well, I don't know if they said like it would be the end of Layla in general, or it'll just be the end of like the story that was kind of hinted at and started in Origins. Like Layla could still make it out the end of this and still be a character. Don't know. It's just going to be like, obviously the tale, like Origins is kind of the first game that picked up the modern day stuff after like the death of Desmond.
Yeah.
I am Eivor of the Raven clan. The clan
Why are you
your men
doing
attacked
quote marks
before
that no one
I
can
fed them
see?
to the crows.
Death.
Oh, okay. No, I'm pretty sure Desmond is dead.
Nick.
Yeah. So like, and it continued on. It's like, oh, like, and then like, there's stuff of like, essentially the modern story of this is they have found Eivor's body in
America,
in like Boston, or like just out in the outskirts of Boston, which is like hundreds of years before any like documented travel of America was ever done. So they're trying to figure out what happened to Eivor that took him from Denmark to England and now to be buried in Boston
with nothing to show for the journey after coming all
or
this
New
way.
England.
You'll have my weight in silver. And
So is this the
abundance of
current king,
livestock and grain.
Rerude?
So this is the Dane, like the Viking clan that was sending people off to my homestead and wrecking them. And essentially, the idea was we'd come here, talk to the king to figure out why have you not kept these Danes in check, and this is why we're now trying to get this guy in power to have an alliance here and to root out these
I
Danes.
accept a fight to the death.
East Anglia's the prize. Let it be heard.
Oh, Oswald's so gonna die.
Hazel is laid.
Do you think?
Swear is made.
When you see a chance, lead Valdis and the brothers to safety. They must not fight today. East Anglia needs them.
He could survive.
Let me be your champion.
No, he called on me.
Okay, nice.
Whenever you're ready, King of Sheep Sick.
Wait, what about the wolf?
Ready.
This guy's like 16, if even. Oh, Spartan kick, Nick.
So I think these cutscenes have been done really well. Like when they have kind of broken out of just go from person to person in a conversation. I think these sorts of like action cutscenes and more dynamic cutscenes have been very, very good. And they almost, obviously there is cuts, which is not unlike or not like that game, but I think they almost remind me of God of War a bit. They're kind of like the act, like it's almost like on a steady cam of someone recording it rather than like cutting from static camera to static camera.
Yeah.
King Louis commands you to die.
Oswald!
Oh, a lot of blood.
Call me king.
Jesus!
Get fucked! Oh,
wow.
That's a draw.
Now Ivor is king.
So did they share the kingdom now, or?
Go! Now!
Run for the bridge.
So are you just running?
Yep, apparently.
This is some Assassin's Creed shit.
But I don't know where I'm running to. Just over here.
Just on top of that pillar, yeah.
Okay, let's quickly take out these guys. Get the fuck. Oh, shot over his head. My bad.
Nick, how did they get down there before you?
Because I was clearing the path for them, man.
No, you weren't. In fact, I don't remember seeing a single one.
Took out those archers so they didn't die.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
such a good guy. You can do these 6 slides. Yeah.
They're breaking off.
They've given up for now.
All right. So who wants to be king?
Well, it looks like you don't have to marry that guy. So you single?
We can rest a moment.
By Thor, he fought well. Raging like a bonfire. We should go back.
Yeah, go back. Well, fuck it. Why not?
Back that ass up.
Look, see, he's going to go back. He's taking their advice. Fuck it, let's just go. They don't even have a king anymore. He might have.
You might, yeah. They fell in the water.
Oswald may have survived. Ruud as well.
It's possible.
Ruud's men will press
See?
the
It's
advantage.
fine.
We must be ready when they attack.
Don't be so glum, chum.
Meet me there when you can.
Nick, is there anything else you want to show off before we go?
I think we'll quickly jump back once I'm out of this cutscene. We'll quickly jump back to the homestead just to kind of show off
He died
like
a
your
hero,
hub area.
No doubt. If his god won't take him, all the sword women will.
I agree.
Sure.
All right, I'll quickly jump back to the homestead, just kind of show off like what the stuff you're doing in the raids and all goes towards and pays off.
Boom. So how quickly do you get into the homestead once you can travel to Britain? Is like the first thing you do?
Yeah, it's like the first thing you do. It's you get there and you like the first thing when you get to Britain is like, oh, we're gonna go here because this is where we've heard the Sons of Ragnar has been like have populated and kind of made their home. And then when you don't find them there, you just take it over. You use it as your home.
So one of the things, it's probably harkening back a wee bit to the equipment, is there's no way to, I have not seen a way to break down equipment yet.
Yeah, so because I don't think you do, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, it's implied that you only get like one of each type.
But you can't seem to sell it either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like that inventory stuff is kind of disappointing to me because like breaking the stuff down, yeah, it's obviously a lot more streamlined.
Hello, puppy. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, he's a good boy. Yeah, no, oh, God.
Don't know where you've been.
Yeah, so this is your homestead, and as you kind of build it up, you'll get, you see here, like I'm at level 3 at the minute. And you see each of these pips is kind of a different area that I can have either upgraded, like say the shipyard here, or can upgrade like this cartographer. And each of those will give you a different bonus or a different like thing you can do. So you get generic ones like, oh, this if you get a cattle farm, it'll increase this feast buff you can get. Or if you get it's feast buff. So yeah, or I can unlock the seer, and that'll unlock like a whole new like strand of quests to go do. To go on like vision quests. Or you'll get more like things like, oh, there's a guy over here who will take like Roman artifacts, which is one of the collectibles in the game, and you'll get rewards off him for that. So I think it's a really cool thing, and like you do kind of build this thing out, and it actually looks alive because every time you level up, like just your whole area of influence kind of grows bigger. And then you even have like your big long house here where you, like Ivor has his own room.
Yeah, it's like a town
And you
hall.
also have the assassination practice dummies. Get him! Yeah!
That was not an
That was not an
assassination.
Wah!
Like you're so weak, you can't even.
Stabbed that mannequin in the dick.
So, like we now shall jump ahead as per usual to some footage of hopefully not you just killing dummies, and you can give your final thoughts on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yep.
Okay, Nick.
suck, yes? My mother told me that.
If I was on the fence about Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Eivor, if you won't help us free
what would
her,
you
we
say to
must
me?
do it ourselves.
So far, out of the like 3 new Assassin's Creeds, as probably the best way of putting them, this one has probably grabbed me the most. I don't think Eivor is as good a protagonist as Cassandra was, but I think everything else in the game and all the stuff surrounding it is a lot better than it was in Odyssey. I think the world's much more fun and much more interesting to look at and a lot prettier. I think the smart changes they've made, like the inventory stuff and the way quests are handled, is a lot more streamlined, a lot more enjoyable to actually engage with now. And all in all, I just really preferred like the tone of the game and the way it's presented and how like the story it's telling with each of the different characters and the way kind of each of the arcs is a bit more self-contained and a lot more digestible than one big overarching story like it was in Odyssey. That being said, yes, this is still an Assassin's Creed game. This is still likely going to be a 50 plus hour open world game, and I know that is daunting to a lot of people, but if you're looking for an Assassin's Creed game or just a big open world game to sink your teeth into and really enjoy, I think you'll be hard pressed to find a better one of these like for the foreseeable future. I don't think there's many on the horizon that will offer this sort of gameplay. I think stealth gameplay is really fun. I think the action melee gameplay is really fun. And overall, yeah, I just think it's a really, really solid, well-rounded package.
I've played it too, you know.
Yeah, but not as much as I have. But Hans, if I was on the fence about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, what would you say to me?
So I have played. We're kind of actually the reverse. So although I have not played much of Valhalla, I played a lot more of Odyssey than you did. So there are certain things they have cut back that I am quite happy about, and then there's certain things they seem to have streamlined that I'm not so happy about. So I think the inventory management and the loot stuff, I actually kind of miss that a bit. I like kind of breaking down and like kind of upgrading certain things and then kind of using the resources and stuff like that. I kind of miss that depth to it because it means that I'm not... Although I realize the power level is kind of more to do with the skills and stuff, I kind of... There's a sort of weird like enjoyment in having like really cool armor and shit like that.
Because I am very wise.
But on the other side of that, they have taken away certain things I have hated about the franchise for a while. There's, from what I've seen, no more ship combat, thank Christ, and they've limited the ship stuff kind of to just being travel more than anything else, which is cool because I kind of do get that. I don't think it should be taken away completely, but ship combat sucks, and I will always stand by the fact that ship combat sucks. I say like I have enjoyed my time with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Although I miss some of the things that haven't kind of come along with this one, it is not taken away from my enjoyment by any means. Like the combat's still fun. The stealth has actually made a bit more of a comeback, which is I actually quite like to see. So yeah, all in all, I think it's. I don't know if I would say better than Odyssey, but it's definitely as good as Odyssey in my opinion. Definitely as good as Odyssey. So yeah, 100% I would recommend this game. I think it's a great game to have to kind of show off next gen capabilities as well. But yes, that is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, currently available on Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Stadia, and Luna.
I don't think it's available on Luna yet because I don't think Luna's launched yet.
It will be available on Luna, ranging from £45 on previous gen consoles to £60 on current. Is it technically current?
So I do think that if you buy one version, so I think if you buy the PS4 version or the there is no specific Xbox version, but I think the PS4 version will come with an upgrade to the PS5 version, and the Xbox version will work on either console and just feed you the best version for your system.
Yes, but I believe that is it. I haven't seen it yet too much yet, but it maybe looks like there might be a slight markdown now on current gen games.
I think the ones that are launching on both
How about we
don't,
think
or like
quietly
have
on what we have learned?
like
Just until
are
we get
kind
home.
of price match between this gen and previous gen.
Yeah.
Like they're both priced at the previous generation.
Yeah. But no, I'd say be a £60 seems to be at the minute the current standard, I suppose. 59.99 anyway for current gen release. It's technically not next gen now, so current gen release. Thank you very much for raping and pillaging with me.
No
I know
problem.
she is. We
See you
saved
next
her.
time.
She'd be rotting away
Yar.
by now.
Oi,
Just like that
boy
poor
mucker.
devil.
You saw that?
Your Cockney
We see
accent is
everything.
terrible.
Let's not tell your...